Om Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamshirishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhya Sarvopaplavarahitaha Prajnanaghana Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Pada Vidham Vibhrate Tasmai Bhashyakate Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Because of sorrow and delusion, one will always be misled into doing something that is not what he is supposed to do. So now we find that there are two reasons. This is the reason why a person will fall into the trap of unrighteous course of life. Shoka and moha, the sorrow and delusion are the two things because of which a person will often make the mistakes of committing wrong actions. Now, and every wrong action then will bear its own fruit again in the form of bringing more sorrow, more dukkham, because wrong action would mean papa karma, and the result of papa karma is always bound to be dukkham. That is the reason why we say something is right and something is wrong. Righteousness means doing things correctly in the right way. That is what is righteousness. And it is right because it brings you the desired result. Why do you call it right? It's because it brings the right result, the desired result. And what is it that you are desiring? So each one of us can very confidently say, I desire sukham. I desire joy, peace, calm, happiness. This is what I desire. And if the result is going to come in form of sorrow, guilt, frustration, despair, disappointment, who wants it? Sense of loneliness, insecurity, who wants it? But all this arrives as the result of wrong action. Why was the wrong action then committed? Because the person already was immersed in sorrow and delusion. Hence, he gets, it is, and it seems to be like an unescapable, is it correct to say unescapable or inescapable? What is what? Both are correct? All right. So, you know, this is a trap and of something that is inescapable. So now over here, when a person is thus trapped, he finds himself becoming helpless. And at this point, because one does not know how to come out of this vicious circle, he needs a teacher. Okay, this is where the guru comes into the picture. And what is it that the guru is also going to give you? The escape from samsara, end of samsara is given is moksha. And what is it that shows? Veda. What is it that is reflecting the entire teaching of Veda? It carries the entire is Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, now Bhagavad Gita is Vedatmika, given by the teacher as what? As a way out from samsara. Now you see, the place of Bhagavad Gita, therefore, is somewhere on the highest rung of life. A person who is now going to value moksha, for such a person will value Bhagavad Gita. So now let us recapitulate, and so that we can actually enter the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, by the way, is a prelude. Actually, it is a prelude to the teaching. And over here, what are we going to find is that even a person like Arjuna, who is so well accomplished, in whose life righteousness is something which is his nature. Okay, Arjuna, even by mistake, does not go into something that is unrighteous. Okay, though every person will do certain right and wrong things, but making a choice of something that is wrong consciously, he is not done by a righteous person. He will not make a wrong choice consciously, unconsciously, unknowingly. Something may happen. That's a different case, but it is going to be then a minor one. Okay, because it is unknowingly committed. It is unknowingly. So in ignorance, unknowingly something is committed. So it will not have severe consequences. You understand? You see? So over here, now, and I will tell you, because Arjuna is a sterling character. There is one incident because of which this is the camera too close, but then it has to be kept this close because people have been saying that the sound echoes a lot. Now we have to manage it. What happened? Is it okay? Then there is an incident because of which Arjuna, yes, fine, okay, fine, thank you. Now, Arjuna was cursed to become a eunuch. He was cursed to become an eunuch. And Arjuna willingly took that curse because what he was asked to do was wrong for Arjuna. And so Arjuna said that I will suffer this, but not do something wrong. Now you see, Arjuna was being cursed for something that Arjuna finds is wrong. And yet Arjuna very willingly takes it up. He says, if this is the price that I have to pay for my righteousness, I will pay for it. But that curse turns to be a blessing in disguise later on. So if we know how to turn our, you know, the what do they call, um, uh, what do they call that, undesirable circumstances also into an opportunity is also something that is there we see in Arjuna. So not only that he is a warrior of an ace quality, but he is also a very righteous person and also extremely intelligent. Even such a person like Arjuna also falls into despair. And whenever there is this kind of a sorrow, despair, and delusion, what will be the thing? The person will do something that is wrong. And therefore it is said, Avishta Purusho Nityam Evamasurapagnatihi Umarthalabhay Ayogyaha San Labhate Dukkha Santatim Dukkham Swabhavato Drishyam Sarvesham Praninamiha Atastat Sadhanam Tyajyam Shokamohadikam Sada Dukkham Swabhavataha Drishyam. Whatever one finds as dukkham, the sorrow by itself, misery by itself, is dvesha, is something that is unwanted, is unwanted. Dvesham, in fact, it is hated. It is to be avoided. It is avoided by whom? Sarva pranibhihi, all including a bedbug and a mosquito. Sarva pranibhihi. Swabhavataha, it is not taught to anyone. It is something that comes naturally. So this is not that, wanting to escape or wanting to get rid of dukkham is not what we are teaching you specially. It is something that you already are seeking. What are we doing? Just refining the understanding about what exactly is dukkham that you want to get rid of. Because if what is dukkham is not understood, though you may want to get away from it, but again and again we will keep on procuring it. Puja Gurudev used to tell one story. And he said, once in Uttarkashi, up in the Himalayas, a little up, from where I live in Rishikesh, is Uttarkashi. Ganga is extremely cold because Gangaji is what, ice water only. The glacier melts and it comes down. So it is extremely cold. And in Uttarkashi, it is even colder. So what happened was, during one such little rainy season, one sadhu sitting on the bank of Ganga, he got washed away by that water. Now this fellow was trying to grab something. And by the way, he was sitting on that bank of Ganga, feeling cold, and he was doing the prayer that Mother Ganga, give me a blanket, give me a blanket, give me a blanket. And then this fellow gets washed, and then suddenly he finds one blanket that is coming in the river. So he grabs the blanket. He says that, look here, though I have been, I'm getting washed into this running water, but Ganga has heard my prayers, and she has sent me this blanket. So he grabs the blanket. And Gurudev used to say, he grabbed the blanket and the blanket grabbed him. And then he wanted to, run away from that blanket, leave it. The blanket was not ready to leave him because it was a bear, a Himalayan bear, which had come into the water. So if one does not know what is dukkham, and then he tries to leave it, and whatever he catches, thinking that this is my escape from dukkham, he is just catching dukkham in another form. That is it. And that is what we keep on doing. We think that because I am a bachelor, my dukkham is being single, and that's why I want to get married. And then he gets married, and then he discovers that this was not what I wanted. I was so happy when I was single, and so now So every time we keep making the mistake, and then if one feels that the whole life is spent only as trial and error. And what do you discover at that? What wisdom that you get? That whatever I did was all erroneous. The whole life was, now I have become wise. What is your wisdom? That my life was a big mistake. Huh? My life was a big mistake only. So dukkham swabhavato dvesham. Dukkham is dvesham. Is something to be avoided, to be annihilated, removed. Sarvesham praninamiha ataha tat sadhanam. But what is bringing dukkham? Papa karma. What makes you go into the path of papa? Shoka moha. And therefore the shoka and moha is something that should be removed, because this is the root. So nipping it in the bud, and not only treating the symptoms. So here we are not talking about the symptomatic treatment, but we are talking about at the causal level only. Atastat sadhanam tyajam shokamohadikam sada. Always the shoka and moha has to be given up. Oh yes, Swami, you people talk about giving up shoka and moha, but we don't know how to give it up. If it was as easy as dropping a towel from your shoulder, we could have dropped it long ago. Yeah? We could have dropped it, but we do not know. Sada anadi bhavasantana nirudham dukkha karanam. And from when did this dukkha karanam also begin? So we are going to say this dukkha karanam has not begun because your mother and father gave you birth. It is anadi rudham. It is timelessly, it has begun. What is its beginning? It has a timeless beginning, which means what? In different words, beginningless. It is anadi. Anadi means it does not have adi, a point of beginning. So anadi bhavasantanam, and thus it has brought this samsara continuously. So there was not even a moment of respite. If you think that there is a moment of respite, it can be your only deep sleep. Where all worries, anxieties, pains, everything has gone away, and only that is the only little what do they call? Ishwaradatta respite. But when you are living in the Vyuthita Dasha, the samsara is constantly there. But I will tell you something interesting. Though samsara is not experienced in the deep sleep, yet the samsara bija is present in the deep sleep. Okay? Samsara may not be there in its manifest form, but the bija means the seed of samsara is very much available in the deep sleep, and therefore one cannot say that sleep is a solution, because the moment you wake up from the sleep, samsara is there. From where? From the bija, and that is present even in the deep sleep. It comes. Anadi bhavasantana nirudham dukkha karanam dustyajam. How is it? Dustyajam. Dustyajam means very difficult to give up. Dustyajam. Tyaja means to give up. And dustyajam means extremely difficult to give it up. Dustyajam shokamohadi This shoka, moha, etc. How is it? Shoka. Now you understand what is the meaning of shoka, sorrow and delusion. If nothing is there, the person at least has some gloom. Okay. Dustyajam shokamohadi kenopayena hiyatam. Therefore, sir, what upaya is there? What is the remedy? What is the solution? What is the means to overcome it? Okay. Samsara and samsara karanam both have to be overcome. You understand now? Samsara as well as samsara karanam has to be. If you overcome samsara, but the karanam remains, the samsara will come again. Karanam means the cause. So I think, okay. Because, it is cutting my lower part of the mouth, but it is okay. Now what to do? No, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, like that. I should turn. Okay. Then it will cut the head. That's okay. It's okay. Better. See. Okay. Anadi bhavasantan nirudham dukkha karanam dustyajam shokamohadi kenopayena hiyata. Evam. Now this is our akanksha. This is what we desire to know. This is the akanksha. There is a demand inside. Sir, how to overcome it, please tell us. Evam akanksha vishtam. Now a person who is infused with this akanksha, with this desire over here, an expectation. Akanksha means an expectation. So you expect an answer to this question. This is what is expected to be delivered. This is what is expected. Evamakangshaya vishtam. So a person now is infused with this akanksha. Purusharthonmukham naram. So, and the person now is also facing in the sense, not like, facing enemy, but he has turned his attention towards moksha purushartha, unmukham. Like, the sunflower will face the sun. It will turn always to the sun. Like that, now this Purusha means a living person. What has he done? Where is his attention now? With having the intention of moksha, he has this expectation for the answer. Evamakansha vishtam purusharthonmukham naram bubodhayeshu rahedam bhagavan shastramuttamam. Then, therefore, bubodhayeshu, Shri Krishna Bhagavan now is desirous of enlightening such a person. Bubodhayeshu. Bubodhayeshu is like, desirous of giving. Bubodhayitum ichchuhu. Bubodhayitum. Bodhayitum ichchuhu. He has desire to enlighten. Okay? To make you know. Bubodhayeshu. So the one who has the desire to know is one person, but even the teacher also should have the desire to make you know. So both the ends have to meet. Then it will spark. And then it will become a flame. Okay. Bubodhishurahedam. And therefore Shri Krishna has spoken this. Idam. Idam means Shastram. This Gita Shastram, this knowledge of Gita is given. And therefore, how is this Shastram? Uttamam. It is not Uttara, but it is Uttama, superlative degree. Okay? Not positive, comparative, but it is superlative. It is not ordinary knowledge, but it is supreme knowledge. Therefore, Uttamam Shastram Aha. Ko aha? Kaha? Ko aha? Bhagavan Ah. Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan has spoken. Okay. So, tatra ashochananvashocasvam ityadina shokamohadi sarvasura papa nivrityupayopadeshena swadharmanushthanat purushartha praptitamiti bhagavadupadeshaha sarvasadharanah. Now, this end, from the point where Shri Krishna begins his discourse till the end of the 18th chapter, till the point where Shri Krishna now says, all right, now I have given this to you. Do you have any doubt about it? Do you have any more questions? Arjuna says, no, sir. All right, fine then. And then Shri Krishna assures, and then because Arjuna's all shoka and moha, the delusion, the incorrect understanding about life, about himself, about the world, is all gone away, and he knows now what exactly has to be done. Okay, it is not that Shri Krishna has convinced him. Over here, teaching is not a job of convincing anyone. Convincing is marketing. The teacher is not marketing anything. The teacher simply is bringing this knowledge to you. If you are ready and if you can understand, you will take it. The teacher doesn't have to convince. This job of convincing is given to people who want to propagate and create more followers, etc. Those who have a number game to play. This is not at all convincing. Don't be convinced. Who cares? All that we care is whether you understand or not. How the teacher is not worried whether you like it or not. If the teacher has to worry whether you like it or not, then the teacher is that person no longer remains the role of a teacher. He has become somebody who wants to entertain and keep you in good humor. That's all. What happened now? नहीं कुछ नहीं ठीक है सब है. Somebody must have switched the mic on. So the teacher is not going to entertain, like and not like. The teacher's main objective is understood or not understood. Are you able to see it clearly or not? You like it, you don't like it, what is there? We don't cater to that variety. If this is there, then it can become a spiritual entertainment. Because in entertainment, you like, you don't like is valid question. But when it comes to knowledge, liking knowledge, not liking knowledge, what is there? Understanding, not understanding is the issue. Seeing it clearly, not seeing it clearly, the thing is still vague, ambiguous. That is the issue. But the issue is not liking and not liking. So therefore, Tatra Shochan, up to that point, Shri Krishna has given his discourse. And then by that, what he has done, Shoka Mohadi Sarva Surapapani Vrityupaya Upadeshena. He has given the Upadesha of Nivritti. The Nivritti over here will also, over here is just not withdrawal, it means destruction in this present context. Destroying what? Destroying shoka and moha. Destroying shoka and moha. The sorrow and the erroneous understanding. The sorrow and delusion. That is what should go away. Nivrityupaya. Upadeshena swadharmanushthanat purushartha prapyatam. Therefore, now follow swadharma. That course of righteousness which is one's duty. That course of righteousness which is, because somebody else's duty cannot become your dharma. Okay. My neighbor also has children and I also have children. But the primary duty of yours is to look after your children. You cannot say, see, he is looking after his children, and because these are also children, he should look after my children also. That cannot become his swadharma. This is your swadharma. You take care of your wife, your children, etc. Help them. If the help is required, help them. That is swadharma. But over here, once swadharma, or somebody else's dharma cannot become your swadharma. Huh? So now you understand that there is that with the word dharma, there is a prefix. What is that prefix? Swa. Swa means swasya, one's own. It is dharma. But it has to be your own dharma. What you need to do, that is what is ought to be done by you, that is swadharma. So swadharma anushthanat purushartha prapyatam. Thus, by following your own dharma, and how that your own dharma has to be followed? Through karma yoga. By karma yoga, let that mind become pure enough, and then finally arrive at that doorstep of the knowledge. And then let that knowledge also come and be free from samsara, as samsara karana itself. Iti Bhagavad Upadeshaha Sarvasatharanaha. This is a common Upadesha, instruction, teaching given by Bhagavan to all. Bhagavad Arjuna Samvada Rupa Cha Akhyayika Vidyastutyartha. Now look at this. Akhyayika means the either it can be a historical background or it can be the contextual background. Okay, what is the context for Bhagwan and Arjuna's dialogue? The battle. But not every time this knowledge is delivered on battlefield. In fact, the Upanishads are in the Aranyakas, where the teacher is in the forest and the student also arrives over there, humbly requests the teacher, sir, please instruct me in what is Brahman. Over there, nobody is fighting battles. Over there, it is peaceful. So now, what this Akhyayika, this whole background, the story behind it is Vidyastutyartha, is in order to make this knowledge, this knowledge easy to grasp. What all things will make it easy? Language, examples, level of interest, the student's commitment, the teacher's commitment, various factors make it easy. Okay, all these things are required. The teacher also should be committed, the student should be committed. The language that is used, the examples that he brings, the logic that he gives to clarify concepts. Okay, all these things will make it easy. So in that factor called as the interest, one will be interested, the level of interest will be increased if there is that akhyayika, by the story. Okay, so the characters involved, Arjuna, Shri Krishna, Bhishma, Drona, Duryodhana, Draupadi, all these people. Now, the background of Mahabharata, in which Bhagavad Gita is delivered, makes it more interesting. It is Vidya Stutyartha. It is a praise of this Vidya. Okay. Why? Because even people like Arjuna want this knowledge. Even the most accomplished people in this world, they will also respect this knowledge above everything. Now look at that. Arjuna asking for this knowledge was where? In middle of the battlefield. The drums are being beaten, the conches are blown, the war, the battle is already declared. And Arjuna sits over there. 700 verses, which means it will take at least 2.5 hours. Arjuna says, somebody else would have said, what are you doing? Is this a time to discuss philosophy? Is this the time and place to discuss philosophy? We will go back home and do it after you have done. Shri Krishna says, no. The chariot will stand still. The armies on both the sides, eager to fight, also can keep their eagerness on a hold. That also can be kept on a hold. But what is more important is now giving this knowledge. So even people like Sri Krishna, Arjuna, okay, in history they have no parallel. Even such people to value this knowledge as highest. Even where the war was already declared, in that place also this knowledge, when it came to this knowledge, there was no compromise. There was no postponement. Sri Krishna says everything else can be postponed and can be withheld. If there is this question about it, this is important. Now, for us, what do we say? Oh, when I get time, I will listen to Bhagavad Gita. When I have time, then only I will listen to Vedanta. So which means that, we have still not understood its importance. And if its importance is not there, and other things are important, then the knowledge, or you have kept the knowledge on a hold. If the knowledge is kept on a hold, which means delivery from samsara is on a hold. Delivery from samsara is on a hold means continued sorrow. And then say, oh God has no compassion, and why God is putting me into problem? Why? Who is putting you into problem? Then we develop new philosophy. God is testing me. Who? God is testing me. Why should God test you? Basically, if something needs to be tested and verified and to be found out, which means that there is ignorance about it. Now, if God is ignorant, then why call him God? Just call him a big ignorant fool. Ignorant means a fool. And because he's big, naturally the foolishness will also be bigger. Now, this has the inherent problems with our these kind of dealing with what do they call pariksha, and God is testing. Why God tests? No. If that God does not know, then he is not sarvajna. Sarvajna means omniscient, all-knowing. The one who is not sarvashakti, sarvajna. What God? That is not God. That can be anything else. Then that it can be anyone masquerading as God. Oh, sorry. Then, therefore, now what is there? Akhyayika vidyastutyartha janakaya himalkya samvadadi vat upanishatsu. Okay. Katham, how, sir, how do you say that? It is vidyastutyartha. Prasiddha mahanu प्रसिद्ध महानुभावोऽपि अर्जुनः राज्यगुरुपुत्रमित्रादिषु अहमेषा ममेते इत्येवं प्रत्ययनिमित्तस्नेहनिमित्ताभ्यां शोकमोहाभ्याम् अभिभूतविवेकविज्ञानः सदैव क्षत्रधर्मे युद्धे प्रवृत्तोऽपि तस्माद् युद्धात् उपरराम. Upararama is not some sort of Ram, okay? That Upararama is a verb. Otherwise, Upararama, Uparwala Ram, something like that. In India, we have several Ram. Moti Ram, Bal Ram, Ye Ram, Go Ram, huh? Kala Ram, Gora Ram. In Nasik, you go, you have that. Yeah, and then somebody has Haldi Ram. So, Prasiddha Mahanubhavopi Arjuna. How is Arjuna? It's Prasiddha. It's popular, famous, well known. Prasiddha. Arjuna is Prasiddha. But Arjuna is Prasiddha. Some people are Prasiddha, but for wrong reasons. They're popular for wrong reasons. Is Arjuna somebody like that? Who we have? Terrorists and all, we know their names. they're quite known in the general public. Arjuna is Prasiddha. He says Mahanubhava. He as a great person. As a great person, great soul, known like that. Mahanubhavaha Arjuna. So just because somebody is known, well accepted, respected, and truly that person has lived by the principles that he has stood by for. Not that he has pretended to live by those principles, but he truly lives by those principles. So Arjuna is one such Mahanubhava, and therefore Rajya Guru Putra Mitradishu. Now, what does he have in the kingdom? My kingdom, my Guru, my children, with all these things, he has an association of an adjective my. There is a Visheshana, mama, mine. My bag, my pen, my pencil. I think I still in school, pen and pencil. Okay, my property and so on and so forth. So ahamesha mamayete. Then what does he have? Well, for him, the world exists in these 2 points. Ahamesham mamayete. I belong to them, they belong to me. Generally, by worldly standpoint, we consider this as to be something really reverential and, wonderful. Aham esham mamete iti evam pratyaya nimitta. Now, because of such experience, what is the experience? I belong to them, they belong to me. And this sense of belongingness can be associated with animate as well as inanimate objects too. Okay, my watch, my bag, my property, my house, so on and so forth, inanimate. With animate, my dog, my son, my people, my relatives, my friends, so on and so forth. So there is this pratyaya. And because of this pratyaya nimitta, there is sneha. There is sneha. Sneha means a, an, a quality of attachment. Like the oil is snigdha padartha, it has sneha in it. Oil is snigdha, which means that it will get attached to the surface on that which it falls. It attaches itself to the surface. Sneha, snigdha. That creates. So wherever there is sneha, friction is also less. But friction, that also, once the friction is there, that sneha itself will go lit up into fire. So what happens? There is sneha. The sneha nimitta. Because of this attachment, now there is shokamoha. Nimittabhyam, shokamohabhyam, abhibhuta viveka vijnanaha. Now this is where the shokamoha express themselves. And then because of the shoka and moha, what is the first victim of the shoka moha? The viveka is crippled. Viveka means discrimination. Discrimination means clarity of understanding. And the clarity itself gets subdued. Abhibhuta viveka vijnanaha. The knowledge born of discrimination is what? Is subdued, which means it gets clouded, which means the person loses the clarity of life. Because of what? Shokamoha. Now, what was the immediate cause for the Shokamoha? Sneha. From where did this sneha come? From the pratyaya. Pratyaya is from the experience. Ahamete mamesh. Ahamesham mamete. Ahamesham mamete. I belong to them, they belong to me. Inanimate objects don't have that claim. The watch does not say that I belong to him only. Let it go and sit on it. That's why, that's why the pickpockets and all, they can take away the wallet. It no longer belongs to you because it is not there in your pocket. That is all. Evam sneha nimittabhyam shokamohabhyam abhibhuta viveka vijnanaha swataha eva kshatra dharme pravrittaha. Now, Arjuna arrives on the battlefield not prodded by Shri Krishna or anybody else. He is not inspired, convinced, prodded, prompted by anybody to do that duty as a warrior. As born in the warrior class, it is his duty to look after law and order and justice in the society. Okay, that is what is natural for that Arjuna to do, Kshatriya Dharma. So he is simply following what he should be doing correctly. So he comes with that understanding. But now, because of this shoka and moha, he starts seeing this itself as wrong. What does he start seeing? That him even, implementing or doing the actions which will bring about justice and also law and order to the society, to the people, is wrong. Why? Because sneha. Because of that shoka moha. Okay? Pravrittaha. But he came with that clear understanding. But on the way, now he wants to run away from the battlefield. He wants to give up what is he supposed to do. He wants to give it up. And therefore, and then do what? That which is. Okay. Now, if you see, there is a judge in a court, let us see, and then he, now in that trial, it is well proven properly, honestly, that this person is guilty, and it comes to announcing, declaring the sentence to this criminal. At that time, the judge said, instead of giving him this kind of a punishment, I would rather go and watch cricket match on the TV. How does that all sound? Yeah. Now, on a larger scale, though Arjuna's duty seems to be fighting war, exactly this is the situation that Arjuna now says that instead of delivering this duty, what will I do? I will do some diksha. Paradharmacha diksha jivanadi kshatriyam prati pratishiddham kartum pravavrite. Now he becomes pravritta. Pravavrite means he now is ready to live on alms. Food given by people out of charity. Yeah. Charity over here means that out of sympathy, or out of what do they call? When you see lachar, the people will feel, bechara and all that. Now God, go take it and go. Any which way. What is it called? Yeah, do you have any? Self-sympathy. Self-sympathy. Anyway, so this, out of people would give it. And so now, this is what Arjuna wants to live. So if you have to subsist on sympathy shown by others, that means you have declared yourself to be so helpless and so worthless. Now here you need something like that, and which is not right for Arjuna. And therefore, Kshatriyam prati pratishiddham karma. Kshatriya is the one who should offer shelter, etc. to others who are helpless. Correct? Those who are helpless, need protection, is what the Kshatriya should give. Instead of that, now you are saying, I only need protection. I need shelter. I need your sympathy. This is nishid, pratishiddham. But why did he come into this thing, this mode? Because of shoka and moha. So now, to show us that principle, that it is the shoka and moha which makes a person do those things which he is not supposed to do. So what is it that pushes you into doing something that you should not be doing? Shoka and moha. This principle is demonstrated over here through Arjuna's example. So now the principle becomes clear to us through the Akhyayika. And therefore, Vidyastutaye Yam Akhyayika. This whole thing is brought to us for Vidya Stuti, so that one will understand the importance of this knowledge. Okay. Now over here, up to here, we have seen then we will then see this more tomorrow, and then in the forthcoming days, let us just chant it. Dhritarashtravacha, Dhritarashtravacha, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, Mamakah Pandavaschaiva, Mamakah Pandavaschaiva, Kimakurvata Sanchaya, Kimakurvata Sanchaya. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Thank you all.